Hello, it's Kristen, and today's day one of the summer book club that Heather from A Catholic Mom's Life is hosting. And the book that we're doing is The Handbook for Catholic Moms by Lisa Hendey. And Heather is so inclusive and sweet. You don't have to be a mom to join the book club. I'm not a mom, but I am a dog mom. This is Scruffy, and I love him so much. Yes, I do. I love him. Chapter 1 is A Match Made in Heaven, an overview of Catholic marriage commitments. And Lisa, the author, goes through life lessons that she learned. And first she talks about service and service in marriage and how we're called to serve our spouses. And I really love this teaching that the Catholic Church teaches. I've always felt called to marriage and motherhood. And like, for example, for our wedding, I chose the Servant Song because I just love the lyrics to that hymn. Will you let me be your servant? Let me be as Christ to you. Let me have the grace to be your servant too. And it talks about sharing in each other's sadness. Let me weep when you are weeping. Let me cry and laugh with you. And just love that hymn. So Lisa talks about, being flexible to our spouse's needs. I can definitely relate to that. My husband's work will definitely take us to a new location, a new state every couple of years, and I'm flexible with that. Ideally it'd be nice to live with family, close to family, but I'm open to the journey and the adventure with my husband. And she also mentions in the book that true love is not romantic gestures, and true love is not just warm and fuzzy feelings. I definitely relate to this. I grew up with Disney, and I'm glad before I was married I learned that true love really is the complete giving of the self and sacrifice, and not romantic gestures. And that's true romance, is serving your spouse. And she mentioned it might sound old-fashioned to serve your spouse, but we Catholics know that when we serve our spouse, it's almost like praising God, praising God for our vocation in marriage. And serving each other is just this beautiful act of love. And it also, in the book she mentions, it also prepares us for motherhood, if we're not mothers yet, because as we all know, being a mother is a beautiful life of service to children. Another lesson she talks about is keeping Christ at the center of your marriage. And keeping Christ at the center is going to look different in different marriages. She talks about how her husband wasn't Catholic when they first married, and it took him 17 years into their marriage for him to want to join the church and start the RCIA process. And she mentions that she had moments of envy when she saw other married couples at Mass. It just makes me think of this one RCIA class where we talked about the desire for God and how the desire for God is placed within each of us by God, and that we can't judge each other because you're judging God's creation and you don't know how God is working in each heart. And God wasn't pushy, so we're not called to be pushy. My husband and I have a joke that, we understand, that I'm not pushy with him at all. My husband is Catholic. He went to Jesuit schools in South America, but there was some, corruption in the government and crime, and so his family needed to move. They were refugees. They moved to the United States, and his parents didn't speak English, and so at that time, education in the faith was pushed aside because his parents were just so busy and concerned with, the children's safety and the children's, well-being in a new country, just taking care of them financially. And, so the parents really did their best. So my husband is Catholic, but we understand each other. We understand that we're on our own spiritual journey, and, just because I might be one step ahead in my spiritual journey, we understand that I'm not called to push him. And he likes to make the joke that, if I ever did push him, that Jesus might come down in a vision and speak to me and say, leave him alone. And so we just like to make that joke because some people really are pushy and they don't accept that everyone is on their own spiritual journey, and the Holy Spirit is working in people's hearts at different paces, and not everyone is going to be where you are. And so we need to have the wisdom to have that acceptance. Another lesson that the author talks about is keeping your marriage first above other family relationships, keeping God first and at the center, and then comes your marriage, your vocation. And it's great to spend time with family, but not out of guilt. And, my husband and I love to spend time with family. That was actually something that really attracted me to him because he's so family oriented. He would love to play basketball with his nephew over, having a drink at a club. He loves spending time with his family, and I love that about him. But we do prioritize each other, and I just love that I know when our family grows that he will prioritize our family. Another lesson the author talks about is play, is having fun with your spouse, enjoying your spouse. And enjoying your spouse is actually such a gift to children. And even though my husband and I don't have children, we already do this with our nieces and nephews. We share the joy of the vocation of marriage by just showing them the joy that we have. And I really became aware of this when my niece said that, me and my husband really love each other. And I said, oh, but your parents love each other too. And she said, yeah, but you really love each other. And her parents, all our nieces and nephews' parents love each other and are wonderful parents. But as you know, parents sometimes are lacking in time and energy because it's just such an overwhelming job. So it's just great to have people like my husband and I who have that little bit of extra time and energy to spend time with the kids and to show them the joys of marriage. Also, on the same topic of having fun, dates are important with your spouse, but quality over quantity is what you need to remember. It doesn't matter if you only have 2 dates a year, as long as those dates, are high quality, that it's quality time with your spouse and you're truly enjoying each other. You're not distracted or your mind is not elsewhere. Also, picking up an activity that your spouse really enjoys that you really never enjoyed before is a way to enjoy each other. For example, my husband loves soccer. I can watch a little bit of a game, but I never watch a game beginning to end. It's not one of my favorite things. But yeah, I'll watch a little bit with my husband because I just enjoy his company so much. So I can enjoy a bit of a soccer game, and that's like a little sacrifice that I can do to enjoy my husband a little more. And also, dates don't need to be extravagant. One of my most memorable Valentine's Day dates was just me and my husband having dinner at home, but we made it really cute with dessert and candles. And so, yeah, just again, that quality time and enjoying each other. It doesn't have to be a big romantic gesture. She also talks about being generous with unspoken signs of love. My husband is so great with this. For example, he cuts the grass because I have allergies. And so that's just a wonderful way that he loves me, is he takes care of the yard and I don't have to do anything with the yard. Something I like to do for him is fold his laundry. But for example, I like to fold his boxer briefs in a specific way so that when he packs his clothes for when he travels for work, his boxer briefs don't like become unraveled. I fold them in a way that they're like almost like a little like pocket, a square pocket. And yeah, just affirming each other with spoken and unspoken acts of love. I often text my husband during the day while he's at work, and I ask, is there anything that I can do to help you today, or anything you need me to do? And usually he says no, but it's a way of showing him that I appreciate him and want to serve him if he needs me to. But sometimes, he'll ask me to research a product that he's considering buying, or if he doesn't have time to research it, or pick up his dry cleaning. Another lesson that the author shares is to get professional help when you're broken. If you're going through a rough time in your marriage, you can schedule a meeting with your priest or another staff member at church. You can contact Retrouvailles, which is French for rediscovery, ministry out of the Catholic Church for married couples considering separation or divorce. I learned something new. I didn't know about this ministry, but that's beautiful. And then also Catholic Charities, they have counselors available to you. So I love the Catholic Church and how any problem you have, there's an answer there. I've never found a problem that someone might have where there wasn't a ministry for it. There's always a ministry for every type of problem in the church. It's beautiful. Anyway, the author ended the chapter with homework, and the first thing was to watch your wedding video or look at wedding photos. And I have this assignment down. I love to reminisce about our wedding. I loved it so much. I have a wedding video. I love photos, so I have an engagement photo book, a wedding photo book, a honeymoon photo book, and I recently made this scrapbook of all the cards that I got from our guests. And I was inspired when I made this, and so I made a marriage preparation video that you can check out. And I loved marriage prep. I think a reason why my husband and I haven't had to get any help so far in our marriage, from a counselor, is because of the marriage prep. The marriage prep was just so thorough, and I highly recommend it. There were non-Catholics, non-Christians at our marriage prep retreat. So you can check out my video, and I linked below the different resources for marriage prep. Another homework assignment was to go to the church where you were married. And I will be going next week because the priest that married my husband and I is going to be celebrating his 50th anniversary since his ordination. So it's so exciting. I'm so excited for that. Another homework assignment was to think of 3 ways to play or to enjoy your spouse. And my husband and I really enjoy just spending time with each other, so we really enjoy simple things. One of the things that we love are Costco dates. We love Costco. I guess just buying items that we love in bulk for a good price makes us both happy. So we like to shop at Costco and eat the samples if it's a weekend. And we like to sit down at their little cafeteria after we check out. And he loves like everything on the menu. I always get the salad and sometimes a dessert, and then we pump gas at the Costco. So we love Costco dates, and we also love gym dates. So my husband likes to utilize his lunch hour and go to the gym that is near his work. So sometimes I'll meet him there and we'll go in together, and I like to pick a machine right next to him, and it's just really great for him to disconnect from work and to just enjoy working out and talking with me. So we love gym dates, and we also just love going for walks. Before we got our dog, we would go for walks, but now with our dog, we walk a lot because one, our dog is young, but if you know anything about terriers, terriers just are kind of crazy and have a lot of energy, so he needs a lot of walks. And but whenever we all walk together, we enjoy it so much, being out in the sun, or even like on a cloudy day, just to be out in nature and talking together. We just love our walks. And I walk my dog right before bed, and sometimes we'll both be really tired, but sometimes my husband will come with me, and just those few minutes walking late at night, we enjoy so much. Like, we just enjoy talking and joking around and observing, sometimes we'll see a frog on the sidewalk, or we'll notice a neighbor's new bug zapper on their porch. So yeah, we enjoy walks. And my husband and I aren't parents yet, so we are blessed with time, and so we actually love going on regular, standard restaurant dates and movie dates. So we're blessed to have the time to be able to do that pretty often. More homework is to find unspoken ways to love each other. I like to pack a snack bag for my husband at night that he can take with him to work. I don't pack his lunch because he's very particular with his meals right now, because he's tracking them and counting the calories. So he wants to choose what he eats every day, because some days, or he's hoping most days, to be pretty strict, but that day that he wants to splurge and eat something a little less healthy, he wants to make that call. So I do like to make him a snack bag, though, of healthy snacks, and he does appreciate that. And another thing I do is make the bed every single day, unless he's out of town. Making the bed, I know some people swear by it. Make your bed every single day. It sets you up for success. But our bed is very large, and I only take up less than 50% of it, and I move at night, but not so much to mess up the bedding. So if I don't make the bed when he's out of town, the majority of the bed looks made and beautiful. But since he likes the bed made every day, I always make the bed, and he appreciates that, because when he gets home from work, he likes to change out of his work clothes pretty quickly. And so sometimes, he'll sit on the bed and check something on his phone, and he appreciates the bed made. Another thing that I do is I work part-time often on the weekends, and my husband is completely free on the weekends. So if he had it his way, he would like to have quality time with me every weekend, the whole weekend. And so what I do is try to prepare during the week for any part-time work that I have that weekend, so that, if I do have a break, like at 1 p.m., for example, I can squeeze in a late lunch date with him. and not have to go home and prepare for work. So that's one way that I can express love for my husband. Another thing that I do is this is funny, a lot of couples have this issue, I'm sure. I love the house pretty warm. Right now it's 77 degrees. But when my husband comes home, you know, I'll figure out like when he's going to be spending some time in the house, if it'll be upstairs or downstairs, you know, if he's going to be working on something upstairs. Before he goes up there, I'll turn the temperature down, so by the time he gets up there, it's at a nice temperature for him. So that's something I do for him, and you know, if we're home, I just wear a lot of layers if he has the temperature down. So I'm pretty flexible with that. Another homework assignment was to have dinner with an older married couple and ask for advice and what worked for them. I'm excited this July 4th we'll be visiting friends who will be visiting their parents, and their parents are a beautiful example of Catholic marriage. And so yeah, this July 4th it'll be a triple date, but we will definitely remember to ask them for advice. And the last homework assignment was just to smile and hug and enjoy your spouse. This, I'm just so blessed because I have an amazing husband. I love him so much. He makes me laugh every single day. And, you know, I just am so lucky. So I smile when I see him and I hug him when I see him without even having to think about. I just want to smile and hug him immediately, and I just enjoy spending time with him. Love him so much. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll link some of the resources I talked about below. You know, if you have struggles in your marriage, I would definitely take some of Lisa's advice. You know, keep Christ in the center and, you know, offer it up to God and ask for guidance, and also her advice for, you know, giving unspoken acts of love to your spouse. Like, instead of complaining or trying to change your spouse, which you can't do, you can change your actions. You can do something for your spouse, serve your spouse, and who knows what fruit will come out of that change of heart in you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon for chapter 2, because this book club is twice a week, which I'm not used to. I've been doing a once a week video. So I'll see you this week again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.